Hi, I'm Dylan with Economics Tutoring Center at ASU. Today we're going to be going over isolating variables. It's going to be important in your economics classes to be able to take an equation like this and be able to sort it out so you can isolate any particular variable in here. Now there's two things that we need to know when we're isolating variables. The first thing we need to do is know the order of things that we're going to be doing the calculations for. The second thing we need to know is what types of functions are reverses of each other. So that's what I have over here on the right side. So for functions that are reverses of each other, remember that addition, the opposite of subtraction, multiplication goes with division. We also have some exponent stuff here. So we have a is equal to b to the c power. Then b is going to be a to the reciprocal of that. We have a is equal to c to the b power. That's going to make b is the log base c of a. And over here, in a special case of that, a is e to the b power. That makes b the natural log of a. You go ahead, please feel free to write this down. These will always work for you. The other thing we want to remember is you've probably learned some variation at some point of this acronym GEMS. Now, what this acronym is used for is when we have some complex function and we want to calculate the value of one of the variables. So we have G is grouping symbols, E is exponents, M is multiplication and division, S is subtraction and addition. Now what we have to remember is that if we're calculating, we go in this order. But if we're isolating variables, we actually are going to be going in the reverse order because we're going to be undoing the calculation that we see in the function. So remember that, and I'll demonstrate that right now for you. We have this equation. It's k squared is equal to 10 times L plus e to the x squared in parentheses. Now, what we want to do is we want to isolate that x variable, meaning that we want to get x by itself on one side of the equation. So what I notice is that this side of the equation has the x in it. So this is the side of the equation I'm going to be mostly working with. So what is the first thing that I should do when trying to isolate this? Remember, we're going to be going in the reverse GEMS order. So I should first find things that are subtraction or addition. So on this side, notice that I have this plus sign here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract this 10L from this side of the equation to undo the addition. So what I get then, k squared minus 10L equals e to the x squared. Now for a little explanation, what we've pretty much done here is we've subtracted 10L from both sides of the equation. So when we subtracted it from the right side, it just left e to the x squared by itself. And when we subtracted it from the left side, it appeared right there. So we notice on this side of the equation, there's no more addition or subtraction. So we look for multiplication and division. And what I see is there's not immediately anything there. So we don't have to do that for now. But we also know that next is exponents. Now see, we actually have two types of exponents here. And it's kind of hard to figure out which one that we want to do first. But what we can do is we can use grouping symbols to figure out which one to do first. So I notice that this x squared is inside these parentheses, so I'm actually going to want to leave that alone until I perform the outside functions. So let's do this e one first. So what type of function do I need to do to undo this e? Well, I see down here that if I have a equals e to the b, it's going to be b is the natural log of a. So that means I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. And what happens is on the left side, it's just natural log of the whole function. And the natural log is going to cancel out this e. So on the right side, I'm just going to be left with x squared. Oh, that's not very dark. There you go. Okay, so now we just have this x squared on the left side. So the only thing we have to do is use this type of reverse exponent. Now, it's going to be tempting for a lot of people to use a radical, and it'll be the same answer, but I'd prefer people use fractional exponents, just because it's a lot easier to do derivatives and calculus with fractional exponents. So here I have a squared, so I'm going to take the exponent, the reciprocal exponent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both sides to the 1/2 power. That means on the left side, I'm going to get natural log of all this to the 1/2 power, And when I do x squared to the 1/2 power, it's going to cancel out, and I'm just going to get x. And see here, now we have x all by itself on one side of the equation. And this is going to be really useful for you because sometimes we're going to get things, like we're going to know all these variables, but we're not going to know this one. And so that is how you isolate variables. Remember the important things, to know all the reverse functions, and to know when we're isolating to go in the reverse order of GEMS. If you have any other questions or want some further advice on how to isolate variables, come to the Economics Tutoring Center at ASU.